If you own a Muslim brand that is selling direct to consumer, serving other Muslims, and have a deep desire for profitable advertising results, then this video is for you, because throughout the next 10 minutes or so, I will do my absolute best as a Muslim brother myself to remove all fluff when it comes to advertising in the e-commerce space and idioms that most advertising agencies probably give you, and actually give you insight into marketing that works here in 2025. And I'll do that based on the experience that I have working with several e-commerce stores in the last 2.5 years being an e-commerce advertiser. Now, in all transparency, I am located here in Denmark. I live in Denmark, Scandinavia. I'm a Muslim myself, alhamdulillah, and because of that, I have two sides of my consultancy firm. On the one side of my firm, I'm working with Muslim e-commerce brands, since I'm a Muslim myself, and help Muslim brands grow through advertising. And on the other leg, I'm working with typical normal Scandinavian e-commerce brands, some of them we can see here. Now, because the Muslim e-commerce space is relatively small, I have actually chosen to only show the Scandinavian brands that I'm working with because of privacy for the Muslim brands that I'm currently collaborating with. Hopefully you can understand that. Nonetheless, I'm using the same frameworks, regardless of you are a Muslim brand or a Scandinavian brand. Obviously, we have different ways of communicating and different ways of advertising, but the principles are the same universally of who you are serving and what type of brand that you essentially are. Now, before you actually start developing an advertising strategy and dive into your ads manager, you first need to take a step back. And that's really crucial, because you need to create an annual marketing calendar for your brand instead of spreading your budget evenly throughout the year. And the reason for that is because obviously what season it is obviously is going to change the consumer behavior. So if you're a Muslim brand and in general, obviously Eid and Ramadan is absolutely best season. And if you just look outside of Q4, because Q4 is also a good season for any brand really. So if you know that, let's say summer or spring, besides Ramadan, Eid, and Q4 is your absolute best season, well, it also makes sense to be really aggressive in those seasons of the year instead of just trying to spread your budget evenly. And if you do that and actually compare it to years where you have just spread your budget evenly throughout the year, you will also notice that you have way better advertising results compared to the years where you just kind of dumb it down throughout the entire 365 days. Now, secondly, we also need to understand how to communicate our value proposition and differentiate our products in our advertising compared to our competitors, because obviously the marketplace can, for some brands, be really competitive and really crowded. That's why it's so crucial that you actually take a look at your products. And most brands out there have unique products. Most brands out there have unique factors. Then it's really important that you actually communicate those unique factors to your consumers and actually make them realize that, hey, if we buy from this brand compared to this brand, we would actually get a better deal for our buck, or we would get a different type of value that is more aligned with us as humans, or whatever the case might be. It's incredibly important that you understand how you can communicate your value proposition, the value your consumers get, and the way your products are actually different from your competitors. And thirdly, you need to develop what I call a code-friendly offer. And that is especially important if you are in a sophisticated marketplace. And what I mean by sophisticated is if you are in a marketplace where you are selling a product that have been around since the dawn of time and have been pushed by so many different brands since the, again, dawn of time, then it's really important that you craft a code-friendly offer and frame your products in a way that actually differentiate your products from your competitors. And the reason why that is so important is because that when you are in a sophisticated marketplace, your average consumer is going to be incredibly skeptical, which obviously makes sense because he have been pushed so many offers so many times. That where you need to kind of differentiate yourself at the way you frame your offer. And to give you an example, I run an advertising consultancy, and my ICP, which is let's say, Muslim e-commerce brands are really skeptical because they have been pushed so many offers by so many different agencies time and time again. That's why I need to take a different approach. I need to try and communicate and develop an offer that actually aligns with the target audience that I am dealing with, because I am in a sophisticated marketplace. And if you would like to see how I actually do that for the brands that I am working with, you can watch this video that I have made called The Unfair Advantage, that help you scale your paid advertising efforts. It's a YouTube video that actually breaks down the SOP, the standardized operating procedure that I actually use for building code-friendly offers. And you can see it right here. It's a 10-minute video. It breaks down exactly how you can do that yourself for your own brand, essentially. Now, once we have an overall strategy and an offer in place, we can now move on to the more technical aspects of actually having profitable advertising results. But before we move on to the technical nitty-gritty stuff, we first need to understand the challenge that we're actually trying to solve, which for most Muslim brands are: how can we predictably and profitably build a marketing mix that maximizes our resources and efficiently helps us acquire new customers into our brand? And the way that we can solve that is by optimizing our funnel strategy and our creative strategy. And if we first start to look at our funnel strategy, it's really essential, as I have written here, that we keep in mind the awareness levels when we communicate, because if you don't communicate in a way that actually resonates with all stages of the awareness level, so you aren't going to see profitable results with your advertising efforts. And the reason why it is so crucial to do that is because when you advertise your products, you are going to target people that are unaware, don't even know your brand, people that are problem aware, know that they have a problem, people that are solution aware, that have confirmed their problem and also know of a few solutions. You're also going to hit people that are product aware, know about your product, and people that are most aware, people that are just on the edge of converting and wants the best offer and wants the biggest bang for their buck. Now, if you only try to communicate to people who are, let's say, most aware, and only try to run ads where you're targeting a specific audience with, let's say, an offer, and all of your ads are based on a logical reason for your ICP to actually purchase, well, that's also why that you will have an incredibly hard time to actually scale over time and do it profitably, because you're only talking to the lowest level of awareness. And if you would like to see how I have built such a funnel for one of my clients here in Denmark, again, it's the same framework that I use for my Muslim brands. You can watch this video on my YouTube channel, which is called Secrets to Building a Profitable and Unstoppable Funnel on Meta. And it's actually, if I just remove the sound, it's actually a live breakdown of how I have done so for one of my clients, where you can see I'm taking you through all levels of awareness, which is so crucial. And that is also where most brands actually go wrong. They only communicate to people who are most aware, but that is not a good way to go around, because as you can see here, it's only 3% of the total addressable market that is most aware. So you have to align yourself with all levels of awareness. Now, with that said, we also need to understand that we have to allocate most of our resources when we advertise to colder stages of our funnel. And that is especially important if you want to increase your spend over time, because as I said previously, if you only deal with people that are in the lower levels of your funnel, well, you can't, and it's inevitable that you will meet a plateau. You can't grow further because you aren't acquiring new traffic. You aren't acquiring new people that doesn't even know your brand down your funnel and helping them go through the entire customer journey where they at the end actually purchase your product. So you have to allocate most of your resources to colder stages of your funnel. And I would say that you have to allocate approximately 70 to 80%, and I would even say 70% is really low, especially when we talk about Meta ads as an example, because Meta is actually a platform that sits top of the funnel for most brands, for every brand really. So I would say at least 70% of your resources should be allocated to colder stages of your funnel. Now, with that said, when you have an understanding of actually allocating most of your resources to colder stage of your funnel, you can use formats like advertorials, listicles, and VSLs that works exceptionally well for colder audiences. And all these formats are great for is essentially educating and nurturing a cold audience to help them understand why they should actually purchase from your brand instead of your competitors when the need occurs. So these are three formats that I would highly advise you to look into. It depends. If you, let's say, run a supplement brand, a Muslim brand that is selling supplements, Advertise are incredibly good. If you are more of a CPG brand, well, then listicles can work really, really well. So obviously there's different ways to go about it for different brands, but you can kind of look into it to see what would make the most sense for your brand. Now, the last part about funnel strategy is just to leverage organic marketing to cost efficiently build a funnel that actually drives traffic and helps you scale your advertising results, scale your business when you push more spend on paid social as an example without your CPA increasing. And in all transparency, I will actually say that most Muslim brands out there are really good at leveraging organic marketing, but are just missing paid advertising to really, really grow. So I don't really want to talk about this step too much because from what I have seen now, having consulting with a lot of different Muslim brands out there, most of them are really good to leverage organic marketing, which obviously I need to give credit where credit is due. So I don't really want to spend too much time on this step. Now, just briefly before I go on, I just wanted to take an example with me from one of my Danish clients. Now, this client of mine is actually a YouTuber. He has a personal brand where he on behalf of his personal brand is selling products through his Shopify store. The case is, or the brand is called Kofferthandsker. It's a Danish brand, so that's why it might sound weird for you. But this is actually an exceptional example to showcase you that organic marketing is essential if you want to scale your advertising efforts, because you can see how many views that this person or this guy gets from his YouTube channel. Now, keep in mind that it might not seem to be many views if you, let's say, live in America or in the UK, but in Denmark, this is really, really consistent and really, really good views, taking in consideration that he's also in a really, really small niche. And whenever I run campaigns for this client of mine, he typically runs campaigns when it's Father's Day, obviously Q4 in general, and when it's summertime, we can scale, and we also scale our advertising budgets really, really hard, and the CPA always stays really stable because we have our organic strategy that helps us grow faster on our front end to acquire customers profitably. Now, next up is the creative strategy to solve for the overall problem. And the first point that I have written here is that when it comes to creative strategy, it's really crucial that you build a solid process for testing and creating new creatives, especially when you need to produce a larger amount and when you need larger volume of creatives. It's really important that you have a solid dialed-in process for this. Otherwise, it's going to take too much time and you'll have a really hard time to actually move the needle and grow through your front end. And if you would like to see how I have built my internal creative process that I use for everybody that I'm working with, feel free to send me an email or just comment down below on this YouTube video, and I can essentially make another video going over my process for actually creating new creatives from scratch, dealing with UGC creators, script writing, sourcing, editing, and literally everything that is included in that. But it's really important that you have a process dialed in. Now, furthermore, it's also important that you stick to fundamental principles and psychology when you create new creatives to ensure that your content actually resonates with your target audience. Because if your target audience don't resonate, well, there is no conversions that you can acquire from that specific creative. And two resources that might be really that might be really helpful and can help you understand how to use psychology and resonate with your audience is two videos that I've made on my YouTube channel, where on the other hand, the one is called How to Make Killer Ads Using Human Psychology, talking about the psychological aspects of script writing and advertising. And the second video is called Narrative-Based Advertising That Works, where I'm talking about how you can actually resonate with your audience, as you can see here, and vibrate on the same wavelengths that will essentially result in resonance with your audience. Now, the third point in creative strategy is diversity. And as I have written here, diversity, diversity, diversity. It is incredibly important that you have different concepts, because some people like to consume some people likes to consume content through videos. That's where UGC or founder-led videos could be amazing, where other people like to consume content through, let's say, images, and that's where static ads could be really, really helpful. And if you have more diversity in your ad account, you'll also be able to resonate with a larger percentage of your total addressable market, and also ensure that you acquire a larger amount of total new customers to your brand, because you have different way of appealing to different people who like to consume content in different ways. And these are just 5 random ads that I have made for 5 of my clients, where you can see on one hand we are running a catalog. Second ad is a typical static ad that is with a value proposition and a testimonial, where we on the third video are running a founder-led video that is made professionally. The fourth ad is simply a static ad that is talking about the benefits of our product, and the fifth ad is another video as well that is made professionally by a photographer for this client of mine. So diversity is really important, and you need to have that in your ad account. Now, the fourth point is that you need to analyze, iterate, and improve over time, so you spend fewer resources on testing as you progress, because most brands out there and even most marketers don't even keep track of their hit rate, which is really scary to think about, because if you don't become better over time, if you don't spend less resources on testing, and if you don't have a better hit rate month after month after month, that means that you're actually leaving money on the table. And obviously, if you don't measure it, well, it's not going to get managed. So it's incredibly important that you actually have some type of system to actually manage your hit rate and make sure that your hit rate increases over time with the learnings that you acquire, so you actually spend fewer resources on testing and take home more profit from your advertising efforts. Now you can see this is my resource that I use, that I have built internally. If you would like a copy of that, please let me know, and I would love to send you one. As I have written here, if you follow all of the frameworks that I have mentioned above and actually take action, I am confident that you will go from a small amount of profits to a larger amount of profits, because these are frameworks that I use for my clients here in 2025. And with that said, Jazakallah khair. That's actually everything from now. See you in the next video, and take care. Bye.